Welcome into a Finance After Dark live stream. And in this live stream, I want to talk about how I increased my income throughout my career as a corporate accountant. Okay, so right now, currently, I'm making a six-figure salary in my 9 to 5 job, but it wasn't always like this. I wasn't always making the money that I'm making today. And I kind of want to go over through like my struggles, my challenges, but also the wins that I was able to figure out eventually to be able to increase my income over time. Okay, because I know a lot of you out there that feel like your lower income is impacting your ability to do stuff in your personal finances, like save money, pay off debt more efficiently. And I know this because I and also a money coach, and I help people with their personal finances in my free personal finance community. It's called Dollar Discipline University. And we can talk about that a little later on in the video. But first, I thought it'd be relevant to kind of share where I started from and how I got up to a $100,000 plus 9 to 5 salary. Okay, so I went to I went to college for accounting. This was wow. So I'm 36. So this was like 15 years ago. I graduated, or however old you are when you graduate. And right out of college, I had a hard time finding a job right away, and I took a job that was like skill adjacent to accounting. It wasn't really like by the book accounting. It was just sort of like an analytical job, with spreadsheets and all this other stuff. But it wasn't your traditional form of accounting. And what ended up happening, I ended up staying there. I told myself I would take the job, and I would take the job, and I would kind of keep looking for like that real accounting job. But what ended up happening was I got way too comfortable at said job, and I ended up staying there for years and years and years, way too long. And in the middle of my 20s, I had a midlife crisis that actually, looking back, I'm so glad that this happened because it positively impacted my personal finances. It positively impacted my career path and my career growth. Hey guys, how's it going? Tia, how's it going? Elza the cool kid? Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. How's everyone doing? Um, so what happened in my mid 20s was I was about to make the biggest purchase of my life up until that point, which was a new car. It was a 2015 Subaru Legacy. Okay, nothing sexy, nothing flashy. My old car had crapped out. I needed a new car, so uh, the day before I was supposed to hand the dealership a down payment check for the new car, I was sitting at work. It was a Friday. It was a Friday afternoon. I was just literally watching the clock go down because I was so excited to get this new car, and panic struck, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, do I even have enough money in my bank account to be able to give them the check that I told them I'd be able to give them tomorrow?" So I rushed to my computer. I guess I didn't have the app at the time because I specifically remember going to the computer and I looked and I did not have enough money in my bank account. It was very stressful, and I was like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do?" Somehow, my girlfriend at the time, who's my now wife, had the money available. I don't know how she had it because we were both not rich, poor, and I don't know how she had it. I eventually paid her back, yes. But she sent me the money from her bank to my bank, but it wasn't going to get there in time for the check that I had to give them tomorrow. So I walk into the dealership, the tail between my legs. I'm like, oh my God, the first problem, the first like big purchase of my life. Hey, Alex the Goat, what's going on? The first big purchase of my life, and I'm just gonna make a big mistake, and they're not going to give me the car. And they didn't love my sob story, but they accepted it. I was like, please just don't take the check, don't deposit the check until like Tuesday when the money comes in. And I somehow drove the car off that lot. And let me know in the chat if you guys are here. Have you ever bought a new car, or like a different car, I should say, not like a new car, but if you bought a used car, a new car, a different car that you had, like you purchased it, were you excited driving home, like trying to play around with all the new gadgets that you have and trying to see how fast it goes in like a limited amount of time? Like for me, that was not my experience at all because I was just so miserable driving home. I was so upset with myself, to be very honest with you. And I was kicking myself. I was like, this was the most embarrassing situation in the entire world. And it's because you didn't even know how much money was in your bank account. That's where this whole thing started. And then I was like, okay, I need to draw a line in the sand. I need to be more thoughtful with my money, my personal finances, because again, I went to college for accounting. So I was telling myself like, yeah, I'm good with numbers and finances and blah, 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 and money, right? But I was anything but that. I was not good with any of those things. And I was just telling a lie to myself. I was being someone, I wanted to be someone that I was not representing who I wanted to be, right? So as I was kind of going through this process of what turned into budgeting for me, so it's like, okay, how much money is in my bank account? I need to kind of figure that out. Okay, but like, is it going up or down every month? Okay, what are the things going in and out of my account? Like, what are the expenses? Like, what's the breakout of like all the different types of expenses? And it really just turned me down this road. I was like, I'm just being way too comfortable in my life. This kind of takes me back to the career portion of it. I was being way too comfortable and in my job because I was like, I told myself when I got the job that I was going to leave it to find a traditional accounting job to do the thing that I went to school for, right? Crazy thought. And I was like, no, I've been way too comfortable for way too long. So um, I, I decided to make a big decision where I would look to the closest very large city to me for jobs. And I was like, I'm going to learn a lot here, hopefully. And I went on, it's basically a 2 hour door to door commute to get to this city and from where I lived at the time. And I was like, no, but I was being way too comfortable. So I had to overcompensate now. Right. And basically, the long tail of the story here is that I realized that my income was not growing at where I wanted it to go. And I was like, in order to do this, I have to take a leap of faith in myself to be able to, I don't know. I think I was like maybe nervous because I had just been in such a comfortable job. It was such a boring job, but I would get there at whatever time I got there. I would leave right on time every day. There was never any stress really. I mean, it was just a very comfortable job, but I was making, I don't know, $45,000 a year. And so I made this big move. I accepted a job in this larger city that was a 2 hour commute, right? So the increase in pay that I got, so I went up to like $55,000. The increase was basically offset by the the commuting ticket that I had to buy monthly to be able to go into this city to work, and then so it's like a daily commuting pass essentially. And the problem that caused was um, I had to still live the same life that I was living because again, it's like the commuting pass was like 350 a month or something like that. And basically with my increase, the 10K increase that I got, less taxes and then the commute stuff, I was left with basically the same amount of money. So I was like, oh my god, crap. So I have to like really hone in, and that's where I really learned a lot of skills, and I that really helped my career growth. So if you guys are here watching right now, I'd love to hear if kind of where you feel like you are in your maybe personal finance journey, but more your career journey. Like, are you satisfied with where you are now? Are you comfortable like I was, which isn't, it can be a good thing if you want to be comfortable, but I wanted to try and do something more with my life, my personal finances, my career. So I took a leap of faith. So if you want to be comfortable, this is not me saying get uncomfortable. I'm just trying to get a gauge for like how you feel right now. Are you in a good spot where it's like, yeah, I love the income that I have and I like my job? Are you in a spot where it's like, ooh, I hate everything? And because that's where I was. And yeah, I would just love to know. So the reason why I'm telling this story is um, again, I'm helping people with their personal finances, and a lot of times I'm hearing from people that they believe that one of the causes of the financial stresses that they have are because of their low income, and that's their words, not mine. And I just think it's really important to maybe shift your framework around your income, because quite honestly, here's what I used to think. I used to think, and this was me out of college, um, I thought that I was going to be like a good boy and go to work. People were going to like me, or I was going to try to make them like me. I was trying to do a good job, right? And then if they liked me enough, they would give me an increase in pay or an increase in responsibility. And that's how you get, yeah, and that's how you climb up the ladder. It's like you I had the mindset of I think I'm worth as much as someone else, this other person is telling me how much I'm worth, which is basically like it's basically a 9 to 5 job where it's like this place deems my value at this, right? And I believed wholeheartedly that was true. I was like, yeah, we show up, we go to work, we do the thing, and then hopefully again someone likes us enough and we get a raise. And I think this is because like how I was brought up. Both my parents worked very very hard, and they just sort of they were doing the like comfortable job thing where they like just stayed at a job for like 2 decades. And I think it's maybe a generational thing maybe. And if if you disagree with that, let me know. I'm not married to that take at all. I just think the younger and younger that people get, and like not people get, but like the different generations, right? It's like people are seemingly less likely to stay at a job for 20 years nowadays if you're like in your 20s and you just got a job, or in your 30s, right? It just seems a little more unlikely. It feels like there's more jockeying for jobs. You're going from one place to the other. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I grew up. It's like I saw my parents working at the same place for decades, right? So that's what I thought. But now I think completely different after my whole experience. And I think the statement that we should all be thinking is that I am worth how much I think I'm worth, instead of kind of putting the power and control in someone else's hands about your income. We can now put it in our hands about our income. Like it's our income, guys. It's our income. It needs to be our responsibility. So if you don't like where you are with your income, like I didn't when, years ago, whatever, I went from a mindset of like, well, this place is like keeping me down. I can't move up. You complain about like, well, there's no path for me. They don't like me. I'm doing a great job and they're just not giving me more money. It's like, or I could just, it's like slap myself in the face and be like, wait a second, maybe you just, I don't know, take control of it. So that's when I took control, and I took a huge leap of faith and commuted for 2 hours a day for like almost 3 years. 2 hours one way, not a day, 2 hours one way. And that part of it kind of sucked, but the experiences that I had, the skills that I learned really kind of shaped my corporate accounting career going forward. And that's kind of where I learned all the stuff, because again, the first job that I had was career adjacent but not really accounting. It was sort of skill adjacent, right? But kind of back to the thought of like how much, I don't know, if you're with me in the chat, like put a 1 if you I don't know. Do you think this mindset? Do you think you're worth as much as you think you're worth, or is it I'm worth as much as someone else thinks I'm worth? Cuz I hear that sentiment all the time. Like I hear it in like, I don't know, I guess where people make like big money, where it's like sports or something, and like the commentators or the talking heads are like, yeah, this player is worth as much as much as the team thinks he is, right? And it's like that's just putting the power and the control of the person handing out the checks. It's not giving the power and the control to the person receiving the check. So how do we shift that mindset of like, how do we become more in control of our income? So throughout the years, I found that I found that sorry, I had a tech issue there. I found that moving companies, like going from company to company was the best way to increase my income. And after I stayed at that first job for too long, I was like, I am never doing this again. So here's what I would do. I would, basically when I would go on interviews or whatever for another job, I think a lot of people forget this, that because I used to be so nervous going on job interviews, guys, like so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I can't mess this up. Like, I want to get this job, right? But after a few of them, you're like, no, wait a minute. They're not just trying to find the right person for their job. Like, I'm trying to find the right fit for me. So I started asking a lot tougher questions in these interviews to them, where it's like, I'm not interested in just like staying put. Like, I want growth. Like, what's the growth path if I, were to do XYZ, right? So then you get the job, and then, they talk about a growth path or whatever. It's like, yeah, if you can do this in 6 months, here you go. If you could do this in a year, here you go. So in some places that happened, and, the income increased. In some places it did not happen, or like leadership changed. And then my kind of, I'll call it the promise that I had during the interview process was no longer there because it was new leadership, right? So it was like, okay, well, I'm not just going to wait around and see if this new leadership wants to keep kind of having people level up their skills or whatever, and learn new things. So I would just ditch and I would go to the next place. So in the last 10 years, I've worked at 4 different companies. So I think for me, that's the best way to increase your income, actually, because think about it, like at your current job, how many increases have you had? And like, kind of what were the percentage increases? Because I've been at companies where it's like they give me a responsibility raise, and that came with like 5% or 8%, and that's just like not great. And then I moved to another company, and it's like I get a 15-18% raise for the same job title, right? And they just pay more because it's harder to, I don't know, new talent is like more expensive probably than like, in-house. They pay you just enough in most places to like make it too comfortable to leave. And that was kind of my experience with that. What are you guys thinking if you're watching live here, or if you're checking this out on the replay after? I'd love to hear if any of you have like a story like I had, where it's like I don't know, you just got too comfortable and then you just got sick and tired of it, and you drew a line in the sand and you figured out a way to learn new skills and become more valuable. Because I think that's it. I think the whole part of like owning control of our income, like it's our income, guys, right? Like, we need to take responsibility for the things in our life. And once we start pointing the finger at other things, it's just like, that's the thing you're pointing at, or the person you're pointing at is where the power lies now. So if you're like, oh my God, my boss, I hate my boss, I hate my company, there's no growth path here. It's like, well, just, it's your life, it's your income, it's your personal finances. So like, take a chance and move. Maybe learn a new skill that you can apply to move up. It's like, maybe you just don't have the right amount of skills to be able to go to the next level. So like, talk to your boss, like, hey, what kind of growth path is there? And if they're like wishy-washy, you already have your answer, that this is not going to be your long-term place. And if they have an answer, it's like, okay, great, let's work out a solution, right? So it could be, hey, you got to learn new skills. It's like, hey, you need to be more of a leader. Hey, you need to take ownership of this like new project or something like that. And if you do a good job with that, like, boom. So it's just like, there's a lot of ways to kind of think about this, because at the end of the day, and this is again kind of the focal point of why I'm making this video, because I'm all about personal finances. So at the end of the day, our income is how we're able to fund our life. It's just as simple as that. So if you are sitting there at the end of the month and you don't think you have like enough money to do the things that you want to do, the financial goals that you want to create or reach, you're not saving enough money, you're not paying off your debt fast enough. It's like, it all comes from one place, which is our income, right? So yes, there are a lot of, I don't know, videos and people online that talk about different side hustles and things that they're doing, and the trend of the month, right? How people are making money. And I'm not going to mention them here because I don't have any experience doing a lot of them, to be honest, because a lot of my wealth and success has just come from my 9 to 5 job, um, which is interesting, right? Because sometimes we just the 9 to 5 job can be a slog, but then you actually like if you reflect on it, it's like, well, this is the reason why I've been able to do all the things that I do, right? So it's kind of important, and right now I'm in a transition phase where I'm trying to do the 9 to 5, but also create this thing on the side, the personal finance thing, because I have a free personal finance community. It's called Dollar Discipline University, and inside that community, I'm helping people, just like you, if you're watching this now and you're trying to figure out how to like do the whole personal finance thing, improve it, maybe learn a new thing or two. But in there, I'm helping people just like yourself save more money, pay off debt, level up your personal finance foundation, because at the end of the day, the personal finance foundation has to be built before we do all the like the cool sexy stuff in personal finances, which is like the investing thing that everyone's talking about, the new I don't know, the new shit coin that's out there, right? uh just There's a lot of distractions with our money. So I think it's just important to like we got to build a foundation. Too many people want to live on the penthouse of their personal finances, but there's no foundation at all. So it's just going to crumble every time you go to the penthouse. It's going to crumble. You go back up again, it's going to crumble. We got to build the foundation. It's very boring. We got to lay the cement. We got to, I was going to say other things about building a building, but I don't know how to do that. So I know they probably put cement in, right? So that's the base. We need the base, and that's what I'm helping people do inside that community. It's using my experience as a corporate accountant, as someone who kept taking like leaps of faith and believing in myself to be able to increase my income the last, I don't know, I guess at this point it's like probably 12 years I've been increasing my income. And I've also had a lot of personal finance kind of milestones with uh, saving a certain amount of money, having enough money sort of tucked away for my wife and I. We have 2 kids now. Back in the day, my wife and I, we paid off $43,000 of debt in just over a year. So it's something that like, yes, I have like maybe some professional experience, but I also have personal experience. So if you're sitting there with debt, if you're sitting there, I don't know, with no financial goals, limited savings, I was there too. And I make stuff like this. I make videos like this because I genuinely want to help as many people as possible. And if my message comes across to one person watching this that can maybe avoid a mistake that I made, then to me that's the value of this video. Then I made that video for that person. I made that video for you, and it's just really exciting. So, Dollar Discipline University. I'm gonna just drop a link in the chat here. So if you guys want to check that out, again, completely free in there. Everything inside the community is free. So all the tools, the training, the resources, the mindset stuff, my time. So every new member gets a free strategy call. And then what ends up happening is I kind of do this little coaching call with them. So maybe some people do 2 calls, some people want 5 calls or whatever. And we just I'm helping people until they feel like they don't need me anymore, which is like the greatest compliment ever. When someone's like, hey, thanks, but like, I'm good. And it's like, awesome. Like I did my job, and I've never asked anyone for a penny in there. So, check that out. And, as far as this live stream goes, guys, I'm doing this live stream every single day until the end of June. I'm just doing this Finance After Dark live stream every single night because I just want to connect with the people that are that want to talk about personal finance. I think it's just so cool to like open up about money stuff. I feel like at least how I grew up, like money was almost never talked about, almost never. And my family, I could kind of tell at times that they were struggling a little bit, my parents, and it was just like never brought up, at least in front of me. And I just think it's really cool. I'm hoping that it's conversations that I can have with my kids. Right now they're 4 and 1 years old, so it's like not really talking about that. With the 4-year-old, we're talking about things like, why mommy and daddy go to work. It's like, well, we go to work to make money to like buy your toys and I guess like your food. So it's like we're trying to teach them that. But I just think it's so cool to like talk to other people like you guys watching this that I don't know, or maybe nervous to talk about it, have never really thought about like sharing personal finance stuff, or you just want to listen along and hear, I don't know, my experiences. I just think that was cool. But anyway, this live stream, yeah, it's going to be going at least through the end of June. I kind of just want to see what happens. I'm making a commitment to the live stream. So if you like that, hey, Ahmed, what's going on, man? Hopefully you got a good night's sleep. But yeah, so if you want to see more of these live streams, if you want to get notified when I'm going live every single day, make sure to subscribe. And if you're finding value, guys, make sure to hit the like button. It helps kind of share the show, the live stream out a little bit. And we can get some new people in here. We can start talking about different things. And I just think it's really, really exciting. Yeah, I'm doing good, Ahmed. Doing good. Just chatting away. A little tired, I guess, but I always get energized when turn the light on here and I've got a camera on me now and we're live. It's actually kind of fun. Like I get super tired and then I turn this stuff on. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go now. Let's talk about personal finance, right? And so that's fun for me. Fortunately, didn't have a sleep today. My goodness. Were you? I know you're in university. Were you studying? But yeah, so kind of back to the income thing. Like, if you guys were just joining me, I kind of went through a story about how I leveled up my personal finances by increasing my income, because our income is our number one tool to be able to do the things that we want to do. Now, let's say that we are at an income that we don't like and we increase it to an income that is more acceptable to us, right? Because everyone's got a different level of acceptability. Then the next steps are, there's always next steps, right? There's something else to do in personal finance. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Happy, what's tonight? What's today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. What was I saying? Yes. So after we kind of like, quote, fix the income problem, which what I like to think about is like, instead of thinking that your income is tied to someone else's like belief, where it's like, I'm worth as much as someone else thinks. It's like, no, I'm worth, and this is all of us, how we should think, not just me. I'm worth as much money as I think I am, right? So that puts the power back in our hands. So once we've kind of resolved that, then the next thing, it's like, okay, now that I'm in a situation where I'm no longer living paycheck to paycheck because my income increased, like what am I going to do with this extra money? That's where I want you to guys to do this exercise, this kind of framework that I talk about called North Star goals. So this is a thing where we want to write down all the things that are important to us now, and or all the things that are important to us in the future. And then what we do is we basically filter everything in our life through that thing, and that's going to help us not overspend. And I think the biggest problem is when income increases, our lives increase. And this happened to me a little bit too, like in my late 20s, I would say. Yeah, that's fair to say. My wife and I, we were both sort of progressing up our own corporate ladders, and our money was increasing. And, of course, like it happened. It happened so fast. But like the stuff around us just got nicer, and I'm not talking luxury, right? But it's like we would just get nicer things. We would, I don't know, do whatever, right? We would go out to dinner more, and then it's like the extra. There were a few months would go by. It's like, where's all this extra money that we supposedly started making? Where is it? So we have to like really think like, okay, what are the most important things to us? And that's where we want to send our money, our efforts, our time. We want to put more sacrifice into these things to make it happen. And that's what my wife and I did, and that's what was very helpful for us. But yeah, people talk about lifestyle creep a lot on the internet, and I think it's true, um, because okay, this might be like a hot take, but I don't think, and I guess technically it does. I don't think money builds accounts, meaning like your bank accounts, and technically it does, right? But what I'm trying to say is, I think what's more important than money in the bank account is your habits. I think your habits are everything, and this is so true. Like if you, I don't know, if you start out of college or university and you have a very low paying job, but then slowly but surely your income increases, like all the stuff in your life probably increases as well. Sorry, my throat's like dying here. And it doesn't matter how much money you make, I guess is kind of what I'm saying. So I've worked with people inside my free community about so some people have made, I don't know, $40,000, $50,000. They have no debt, and they're putting money towards their financial goals every single month. Is it a lot? No, but they're putting money towards financial goals on top of, all the other life expenses that they have. And then I work with people that make, I don't know, over $150,000. So definitely considered like a higher earner. And they're up to their debt in eyeballs, and they have no financial plan. They're stressed, and they don't know how they're going to like get themselves out of it because they've taken their increased income along the way, and they've kept increasing the amount of stuff that's around them. So it's just like a very dangerous thing, but it just proves that while income is an important tool to do the things that we want to do in our finances, it's not everything. It's not everything, because if that was the case, the more income that we get, the more financially secure that we would be. I think there's a stat where a poll was conducted. I don't know how many people were in the poll, but 33% of people making over $200,000, or maybe it was households making over $200,000, say that they live paycheck to paycheck. And I think for over $100,000, that number was over 50%. I want to say it was 60%. And these are people that are, supposed to be higher income earners, but if they lost their job, they'd be screwed because they haven't really set up the foundation. They just kept making more money, and they just thought that their income would fix the problem. But if you don't have a habit in the beginning, we want to, increasing our income is great, but we also want to increase our habits along with it. So like if your income instantly doubled tomorrow, what would you do with it? I'm asking you guys if you want to play along in the chat or after in the replay. But like if your income doubled tomorrow, what would you do with it? Would you go out and buy, I don't know, new stuff, new furniture, a car, put a down payment on a house, or are you like socking it away for investing or saving, or would you pay off your debt? Like, what would you guys do with it? Gonna take another drink. Is this vibing for you guys? Do you enjoy this kind of conversation here? Talking about income. Again, I can come on here and talk about, well, I can't because I don't have a lot of experience, but like side hustles and, oh, here's the fastest way to triple your income in 4 months. I see all that kind of stuff on the internet, and maybe it's true, and I'm sure these people have done it, but there are some bad actors, right? There's bad actors in every sort of part of the internet talking about different things. You'd pay off your debt. Crystal, yep, love that. Love that. See, that's a very productive way to use that income. if my income will be doubled, I'll probably invest it in somewhere that will benefit me. Yeah, no, that's great. I'd probably put money in a CD or invest it. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. And that's like, those are all the right answers, right? Like, the habit that we're building is more important than the stuff that we have or want or don't have, right? The habits are so much more important than everything in my opinion. And if you guys disagree, let me know, but habits are everything. And I once I became a little more intentional and thoughtful and um proactive with my finances, that's when everything kind of changed for me and my wife. And once we had to draw a lot of lines in the sand to be able to make the stuff happen, where it's like, no, we are no longer doing this problem that we have is over. Here's the line, and here's what we're now going to do going forward. Because I don't know, life keeps getting harder. It seems like there's always more responsibilities. Like, back then when we paid off the debt, we didn't have any kids, and now we have two kids, and there's all of those expenses that come with it. So it's like there's always a new level to personal finances. So like within the last couple of years, we've had to draw new lines in the sand to be able to be able to I don't know, help pay for certain things. Like, we have two kids in daycare, and daycare is just like stupid expensive right now, and it's costing us. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. It's costing us $2,400 a month for two kids in daycare, and it's like the cheapest in the area by far. So it's just like a lot, and obviously that's hard to like find $2,400. But we had to keep drawing lines in the sand. Like, well, we gotta figure this out. We're gonna have these big daycare bills. We can't go into debt for daycare, right? Debt for daycare. Put it on a T-shirt. Um, and what do you think about investing in the stock market? Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I'm not necessarily like an investing channel, so I'm not going to give you like specifics, Ahmed, but I mean, my wife and I, we are invested in the like US stock market, and just like the very general uh broad market index funds, because over a long enough time horizon, they've deemed to be valuable in the history of it being active. So that's what we do. I don't try to. Well, I guess that's not true. I did try to like chase stuff back in the day. Again, when my income increased, I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing with investing. So I would listen to these I don't know, podcasts or videos where they would talk about like, oh, this is the stock that's going to change the world in 20 years. You have to buy it now. And I'm just like so intrigued. I'm like, wow. And they'd go through this whole presentation. And at the end of the presentation, it's like, oh, hey, they just tease you the whole way. And then at the end, it's like, oh, by the way, if you want to actually hear what the stock is, you have to buy our like annual membership thing. And it's like, oh my God, come on. But I went through a few of those, and I eventually bought one stupidly. And I bought into the stock that they recommended, and I just watched that stock for like weeks. I was at work. I was just literally on my investing account thing and watching it go up and down slightly, and like, oh my God, I lost $30 today. Oh, I'm up $10. Oh my God. It was like not a healthy thing for me because I didn't know what I was doing, and it felt like it was like kind of gambling because again, I didn't do any research into that company. I had no idea what I was doing. So because I have no idea what I'm doing, I am just going to invest into the broad market and say, please grow my money. Do you like the total stock market index fund? Yeah, so I basically I like S&P 500 or like the equivalents of those, just like give me the best companies in the United States, the top 500 companies. That's what we do. Um, it's not fun. It's not a sexy thing. It's just like slow and steady wins the race. That's kind of what we're doing. And I'm not a stock picker. I'm not an investing person. I invest, but like I don't know enough to like. I already learned that lesson. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to do it again. It's my personal advice. Just don't buy stocks if someone advises you. Yeah. Yeah. I learned that the hard way. But I was so like, I felt like I had this like FOMO, like fear of missing out if someone uh, said something to me. And I'm telling you guys, they do a great job. These presentations were like they keep you hooked the whole time. It's like, oh, they're about to tell me, they're about to tell me, and then they go into another tangent, and it's like four of those things, and it's like, oh, they're about to tell me, they're about to tell me, and then yeah, they don't tell you. They just want you to buy their like ongoing monthly subscription or whatever. So yeah, I wouldn't do any of those. So if you are kind of a, I don't know, investing noob like me, I just look for like the easiest thing to do. That's all. But the whole point is like the income. If we don't have the income that we feel like we, I don't know, I don't want to say deserve, but like if we are feeling like we are not being valued at our company, then all I'm kind of trying to say throughout this live stream is like we need to take the responsibility to take the leap into some maybe something else, a new challenge. And it can be scary to go from, like I was mentioning earlier, I was so comfortable in that first job I had out of college. I was so comfortable, and it felt so uncomfortable to leave that, and not only leave that, but like go into this job where the office and everything was 2 hours away one way. It was like very kind of risky for me. I'm very risk averse. Like I don't like risk, and it felt very risky. But I was like, if I want to, if I actually wanted to make this work, and I actually want to try to improve myself and my skills, like I have to take this chance to try to learn new stuff and actually do the career that I went to college for and paid ungobs of money for, right? So it's like I can't just keep doing this comfortable job. I have to try. I actually have to try to do the thing that I said I wanted to do, and that's kind of what ended up happening. And it worked out. And I'm still trying to learn. I'm still trying to learn. Now all of this stuff too, like making content, and figuring out like the kinds of things that you guys in the chat right now, and maybe watching this later on the replay, like what do you guys think is a challenge? So it's like trying to figure out, okay, what are like the people that are interested in this type of information? What do they want to know? What do you guys want to know? And actually, what do you guys want to know? What's been a struggle with for you? If we want to do that now. But yeah, it's stuff that it's been really helpful to have the personal finance community, because I'm talking to people in there every single day, and I'm understanding what their problems are. So it's always like we always try to want to keep learning skills and keep improving ourselves. I guess is kind of what I'm going after here. So how do you guys feel with like your current incomes, I guess? Like do you feel comfortable? Do you actually feel like you're making what you feel like you're worth? I'd love to know, because I think if you're feeling comfortable, I really truly hope that this live stream kind of helped like change maybe a mindset where it's like, no, maybe I need to take a leap of faith. Like the job that I'm working at now, there's no career path, and I don't think myself that I'm making enough money, and I need to make a change. And I think it's just really important. I also think while you're trying to make a career change, or like you're trying to learn new skills, I think it could be beneficial to, I don't know, try to make other income on the side to like kind of transition yourself over. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I must have jumped on a little earlier today, because I was looking at the time. I've been live already for 45 minutes. So thank you guys for being here. Again, I'm doing this Finance After Dark live stream. I promised myself that I was going to at least do this through June 30th, just to kind of see like where this goes. Like, how can we get a lot of people in here? So subscribe if you want to see when I go live. I think you'll get a notification from YouTube or whatever. Make sure to like it so other people can find it. And if you found value with this, I would recommend, I would love if you shared the video, shared the live stream with someone that you think could find value. Or if not, and you just kind of want to hang out here, that's great too. And if you want to take the extra step and join my personal finance community, I've linked the community there. Everything in there is completely free. And Let's see, Ahmed. I've gone through when I started at uni. At the time, I got a job in an auditing firm. And yeah, they were training me for junior auditor, but yeah, I wasn't feeling that valuable of what I worked. Yeah, it's true. So at least um, training me for junior auditor. Yeah, so at least there's like a training process, right? And you don't want to like jump ahead and be like, okay, like I know you're training me for this, but like, what about the next thing, right? We kind of have to like, you know, kind of see how that's going to. But yeah, if you feel like you're not being valued, and if you feel like it's kind of a dead end, then maybe you already have your answer. Like if you can keep working there. Now, if it's a new skill that you're trying to learn, I would almost like taking a job to learn a skill. I think is great, and you get experience to learn the skill, and then you can kind of move on with all this experience and skills. Mark, I went back to college to earn a degree and possibly earn more money. That's great. That's great. So you're trying to, increase your skills. Okay, well, that's great, Mark. And yeah, what do you earn a degree, possibly earn more money? What are you trying to? Okay, what are you trying to? Um, Sorry about that, guys. What are you trying to go into, Mark? Like, what's the skill you're trying to learn, or the career you're trying to be in? And Ahmed, I know you. I think you're in like finance stuff. So does auditing mean like financial auditing, like a CPA firm kind of thing? Because that's cool. Hey, Liam. Yeah. Yeah. If you're just joining me, so I went through kind of this whole process of the story and the journey that I was on. Um, I currently make six figures, but it wasn't always like that. Basically, I started at a very small salary, and I realized that I was too comfortable in my job at the time. I was making, I don't know, $40,000 something a year, and I was way too comfortable with how easy the job was and how stress free the job was. And I drew a line in the sand, and I was like, I had this like mid 20s life crisis essentially, and I was like, I'm not doing the thing that I said I wanted to do, which was accounting when I went to school. So I drew a line in the sand, and I challenged myself to um, go for the next opportunity, which was finally to go into the accounting field. And I took a leap of faith by going from the job that I had to a job in a very big city near me. And it was a 2 hour commute one way. And I went there to learn the skill. I didn't go there right away to make more money. The increase in pay that I got only covered the transportation to and from, the city for the month, that city. So basically, how I kind of, okay, well, best way to increase your income is learn new skills and move around jobs, to be very honest with you. I don't know if you're looking for like side hustles, but that's not really what this stream is about. But yeah, it's all about learning new skills, or even if like you're at your current job, like how can you level up at your job? How can you go from your current position to the next position? How can you talk to your boss and say, hey, you know your company better than I do, but it's like if I do this XYZ project, or if I lead this team, or if I learn this skill, I would like to know like what kind of the career path is, and if they lay out a nice career path, or you go to them with a career path, then great, maybe you have an opportunity to increase your income throughout the company. But if they don't really have that, then you kind of know that you should probably just be leaving. Okay. Mark, some kind of computer related field. Okay, cool. Nice. MNCs here is a huge career path for auditors, like auditing. Detective mindset. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you have to find the issue without knowing what the issue is, for sure. So if I'm a cobbler, should I become a blacksmith? You know what, Liam? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I don't know. Yeah, um, the story that I was telling kind of was in a way trying to get to the point of what I did, and what I did might not work for you, Liam. So it's okay, and I'm just kind of sharing. This live stream is me sharing what I did, how I raised my income, and it wasn't anything sexy. So I don't know if you're looking for something where it's like a quick get rich quick thing, or like the side hustle that's trending right now on TikTok or something like that. But for me, um, the vagueness that you're saying is me saying, like, in order to increase your income, how I did it, I learned new skills. I learned new skills. And for me in accounting, that was learning very specific technical accounting skills. Um, so I don't know what career you're in, Liam. So if you want to share that, that's great, and we can talk through that. But um, yeah, I'm just sharing what I did. I'm hoping that it helps other people. That's all. Oops. All right, guys. So I'm gonna call it there for tonight. I appreciate all you guys in the chat. And again, if you like these kind of streams, just hanging out, talking about personal finances, I'm gonna be doing it every night. So check that out. And I linked up towards the top of the chat my personal finance community. It's called Dollar Discipline University. So if you're someone that's looking to uh, save more money, pay off debt, build up your personal finance foundation, I'm kind of sharing everything that I did to pay off $43,000 of debt in just over a year. My wife and I did that. And it's been really great to see other people's personal finance stories, because every new situation is like a new puzzle to kind of figure out, because there is no cookie cutter answer um, to increasing your income, or to saving money, or to do the thing, because everyone's got different income, different expenses, and all this other stuff. So it's just been really kind of fun. So if you're interested, I'm doing free strategy calls for any new member that joins in there. Yeah, Liam, it is free to join. Oops. I'm going to drop the link in here again if you're interested. And again, if you kind of like the vibe of this live stream, this is basically what like a coaching call with me would look like. So that's kind of why I'm doing these live streams, to be very honest with you, just to like, it's sort of like an intro to me. And I've never asked anyone in that community for one penny or more. Everything's free right now, including my time. I'm just trying to help people. Eventually, I want to monetize it, but if you get inside the community now, like, you will be in that community for free for life. So it's just kind of fun. But that's going to be the live stream for tonight, guys. I gotta go to sleep, and I hope you all have a great night. Have a great Tuesday, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. If not, maybe another night this week. Come back and hang out.